Hey everybody, so today we're going to talk about our latest night fishing experience. Yak Motley and I went out to the 3 Mile Bridge last week. Forecast was low winds, temperature change coming. It was going to drop into like the 30s the next day. So generally those kind of things mean fish are moving. It's a good time to go out there. So as far as the tackle that I use, when I go out there, guys, it's at night. Like, there's not a lot of changing of things. You kind of want to keep it pretty simple so you're not dropping things in the water or trying to go overboard, grabbing new equipment. So I keep it super simple. 2 rods and about 4 or 5 different lures right in front of me on my kayak in my little plastic container. You don't need fancy rods, you don't need huge reels or anything like that. I actually was able to see a lot of topwater hits the last time I went out. I've heard people talk about this, but I've never actually seen it for myself. And it was exciting, you know, seeing these 34, 36 inch reds kind of just bringing their whole head to get their mouth out of the water and hitting bait. So when that's happening, topwater. This was really cool to see them hit a top water bait. Previously I've only caught them on crankbaits and jigs on the bottom. So seeing them, even though they missed it, I'd say 7 out of 10 times. I only caught 1 fish like this. I hooked 2, but caught 1. And something about them having to bring their whole mouth up just didn't always land very well. So they missed it quite a bit. A lot of fun, a lot of noise, a lot of splash when you pull it. This is a Bo-donka-donk bomber. Very good lure here. The second lure I use to catch a nice red, this is more kind of middle territory. This is good because you can kind of see where they are. This is which one is this? This is a Rapala Clackin Rap 8. Feels like it weighs about 3, 4, 7/8 of an ounce. It's got big treble hooks, and actually the last time I went out, you can see big red almost straightened out one of them and took off a hook. So this works pretty well. I'm gonna have to replace that. So what you do is when you throw this, you throw it kind of right at the light, a little bit past the light. And so what it's going to do is it's going to slowly sink. And I've had redfish hit this on the descent, and I didn't even know it. You know, my line's still kind of a little bit slack from it catching up. Next thing I know, I'm looking at my lines going one direction. So this is fun. Let it sink, count to 8, 10, 20, you know, depending on what depth you are. And then lock and load it. Snap it over. And then I do kind of slow, long pulls. I don't jig it. I just kind of slowly pull it, and you can feel it on your rod tip vibrate and make a noise, which is really going to excite those fish. So when you're pulling, you reel in the slack after you get done pulling, and you're kind of figuring out where they are in the water column, right? So if it's near the bottom, then as soon as you pull the first time, you'll feel the hit. You know, maybe 3, 4 pulls into it, you're up about 10 feet, hit then, so you kind of know where they're cruising. Really good, really effective to find out depth that the fish are at. And then generally the last thing that I'll try, especially if I'm going for white trout at the end of the night to cook, about a 3/8 ounce jig head. I've used red, chartreuse, white. I don't think it makes much of a difference, to be completely honest. And then my Gulp Shrimp, 3-inch pearl white. I mean, if something's down there and you're jigging this thing on the bottom, it's gonna hit it. I'm sorry, it's gonna hit it. Pretty much every cast I've ever made with this, where the trout are down there, I've caught a trout. So you really can't go wrong with that. The rod that I'm using, 6.5-inch ugly stick GX2 I've got like 3 of these things, and I've had these things bent 90 degrees, and I thought it was gonna snap, never snaps. On it, I got my Penn Fierce 3000. Oh, about took out my chandelier. With 20-pound braid, and I got about a foot of 30-pound mono leader. I've caught 36-inch redfish with this. I've caught little tiny trout. I have very good feel with it. It holds up a lot. The drag's pretty good. I have no complaints. This is a great rod and reel setup. So, and the floaty works. Check out my other video. This little doohickey works. Saves your rod. But anyway, night fishing, 3 Mile Bridge, big bull reds. It's a blast. Be safe and have the right gear. Oh, and you can check out Yak Motley's video. His has all the action. My camera wasn't doing very well, so Yak Motley, Beast of the East, he's got the action for you guys. It shows us just killing the reds. All right, later guys. So the last time, so when we went out there, you know, we're out there, Yak Motley's in his Hobie. I got my 13-foot Ocean Prowler, and then, you know, I thought I was kind of roughing it. This guy comes up, and he's in a 8-foot sit-in kayak. I mean, this thing's built for like a pool. I don't know what it's for. Maybe it's supposed to have a skirt for whitewater. No clue, but he's out there, and he's got this milk crate strapped on, roped on, duct taped onto the back, and his nose is going left and right. I don't know how he did it. So I wouldn't advise that, but hey, kudos to that dude. You got to work out. He said he caught like 8 redfish, so hands off. Just an example, you don't need everything to be fancy.